Today is a gorgeous September 27th, 2021. Couldn't ask for a better end of September day. It's about 78 degrees. We're on the Port Jefferson Branch. Going to rail fan the west end of the Port Jeff Branch in the electrified territory. This is Robbins Lane Crossing. This is where the old Landia Station used to be. It was instituted in 1953 and discontinued in 1972. I see a 747 flying overhead. I think it's a cargo plane. I can't make out the identifying airline there. That was actually Atlas Air 747-400 from Anchorage, Alaska to JFK. It's a glorious day here today. A little breezy. Feels like a Southern California day. It's warm and dry. And no wonder it feels so refreshing here. It's 186 feet above sea level. That's just about the highest elevation that the Long Island Railroad reaches. We got 1706 coming from New York to Huntington with M9s. Should have the Flying Yankee piloting the train. Here he comes. Just north. Not sure he was on there. And 238 approaching westbound is train 1705. Huntington to New York. Speed limit is 80 miles an hour through here. This train has M7s. That's about as fast as any trains go on the Port Jefferson Branch. Now we move further east to a station that I've overlooked up until now. Syosset was reached in 1854. This line was electrified in 1970. The station has since been renovated to this modern structure. And this town takes on more of a mountain climate, as it's about 212 feet above sea level. I believe this is the second highest station on the Long Island Railroad. The leader is Greenlawn, east of Huntington. See a lot of these signs prominently displayed here. They're sort of painted in the color of old Long Island Railroad station signs. It's amazing how they phrase this. Other places you see watch the gap. If you're in British-oriented countries, it's mind the gap. Well, at 3:14, you can hear the gates going down behind me on Jackson Avenue crossing. It's train 1707 from Huntington to New York. Some of my viewers have been clamoring me to get MUs, so hopefully this video today will satisfy your appetite. Next stop, Hicksville. Ooh, move further east of Syosset Station at Syosset-Woodbury Road. We're just west of Amont Interlocking. Approaching west at 3:34 is train 1709, Huntington to New York. He just entered Nassau County a little ways east of here. Slowing for Syosset Station, just around the bend. We moved east to Avery Road, just west of Cold Spring Harbor for 1712, New York Huntington. Bad sun angle here. Further east to one of the more scenic railroad crossings on the Port Jefferson Branch, Eastgate Drive. All right, 411 approaching west is train 1713, Huntington to New York with M9s and the Flying Yankee as the pilot. Well, the Flying Yankee ought to be happy the way his baseball team is playing lately, beating up on my Boston Red Sox. Approaching now at 422, we got a westbound equipment train. Unlike 1713, he's running on track number 2. Track 1, excuse me. Okay, 433, approaching is train 656, the first of the rush hour fleet from Hunters Point Avenue to Port Jeff. Well, even though it's late September, there's still enough daylight to witness much of the Port Jefferson rush hour fleet in daylight. And approaching at 440 is train 1716, New York to Huntington. This is Eastgate Drive crossing. It's hard to believe that this splendid alpine setting is on Long Island. It's a gorgeous spot. We're just west of the Cold Spring Harbor Station. I almost feel like I'm in Flagstaff, Arizona. We move further east up the hill to the Rogues Path crossing, West Rogues Path. Cold Spring Harbor Station is actually in a valley. The elevations on either side of Cold Spring Harbor are much higher than Cold Spring Harbor itself. Still relatively high though, it's 186 feet above sea level. And 5:05 p.m. climbing up Cold Spring Hill. He just left Cold Spring Harbor Station, his train 1718 from New York to Huntington. This crossing is at a noticeably higher elevation than the Cold Spring Harbor Station is. From here eastward, it climbs up onto a plateau before getting into Huntington. That's the first of several trains we'll catch here. And 5:10, the gates are going down for westbound train 655 from Port Jefferson to Jamaica. We'll get to hear an operatic cab car horn on this train. He's just descending down the plateau. Well, I guarantee you that opera company would go bankrupt after the first performance. You had sweet music on the rear end. Unfortunately, it was on the rear end. DM30AC 423 with the K5LLA horn. But 658 coming east will definitely have sweet music. 509 on the point. Correction, 423 is a DE30AC, but it was converted from a DM30AC. Approaching at 5:16 is train 1715 from Huntington to New York. Descending down off the plateau. And 518 approaching up the hill is 658 from New York to Port Jeff. DM30AC 509 on the point with sweet music. From a distance it sounded like abbreviated sweet music. Oh, that was awful, but he seemed to give me a salute at least. And We moved east up the plateau, or on the plateau at Oakwood Road and Huntington Station for train 1722, New York to Huntington. Lots of changes here at Oakwood Road. When I was a kid, this was an unprotected crossing and there was only one track here, and it was non-electrified. And approaching Oakwood Road crossing at 5:49 is train 660 from New York to Port Jefferson. Climbing up the grade onto the plateau here. He'll be arriving in Huntington Station in about a minute and a half. And we're further east at the 11th Street crossing. We're just west of Hunt 1 interlocking and west of Huntington Station. West Road paths, if you continue straight across Oakwood Road, becomes 11th Street. And approaching 11th Street at 6:12 is train 662, Hunters Point Avenue to Port Jefferson. This guy stops in Huntington. Dainty, dainty. The sun is going down at 6:16 at train 1726 from New York to Huntington. He's arriving into Huntington on track 1. It's been a glorious day. All right, we're further east and just west of the Huntington train station. This is the Pulaski Road crossing. And there's the pedestal signal westbound for Hunt 1. There are 3 Hunt interlockings in Huntington. Approaching Pulaski Road at 6:25 is train 1728 from Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn to Huntington. Gotta watch where I stand here. There's a live third rail next to me. He's on his last lap in Huntington here. Stop on this gorgeous day on the western end of the Port Jeff Branch, the electrified zone, is Huntington Station. This beautiful building was built in 1909, but Huntington was actually reached in 1868 initially. A dispute between Huntington and an entrepreneur by the name of Oliver Charlick resulted in the right-of-way being a mile and a half south of downtown Huntington. There was a big feud over that. Oh my goodness. Would have been nice if it went through downtown Huntington. The station was originally planned to be where Route 110 and 25A meet, but now it's down here, or up here. It's up a significant grade. Well, this is one of the higher stations too, but not the highest. It's about 212 feet above sea level here. But Greenlawn holds the record for the highest elevation on the Long Island Railroad at 226 feet. So here we're looking north on Route 110. New York Route 110 runs from Amityville to downtown Huntington. 1909, an electrified trolley line ran from Huntington all the way to Amityville. How nice that would be to have today. It was discontinued in 1919. Another trolley line was built that only went as far as Jericho Turnpike, Route 25, and that ended in 1927. Into the twilight looking west, you can see the pedestal signals guarding Hunt 2 interlocking. We're waiting for one more train, train 664 from Hunters Point Avenue, Long Island City to Port Jeff. He won't stop here. His next stop, his first stop after Jamaica, is Greenlawn. And at 6:43, the sun is already set. Approaching now is 6:64. Years ago, this train was a crack limited on the Port Jeff Branch. Used to be the most crowded train, longest train. I remember used to have a Jeep 38 and 12 P72 cars on them. Tonight, all it is a D30AC and 4 double-decker cars. A far cry from what I remember about this train. Got a clear signal at Hunt 3, straight east, next stop Greenlawn.